The healing properties of hyperbaric chambers have been known for decades, but while most people associate the chambers with physical healing, well, it turns out they can also provide therapy for mental issues as well. And more first responders and veterans are taking advantage of that. Joe Filomeno joins us now to explain. Joel.
Rich, according to research by the National Library of Medicine, almost 30% of combat veterans develop post-traumatic stress disorder. And that number rises to 32% for first responders. But extra pressurized oxygen can help.
Being an A-type person, just work through it.
Oklahoma Army National Guard Lieutenant Colonel Brad Dean joined the military in 1995. He recalls a helicopter crash in 2018 that left him suffering both physical pain and mental trauma.
I was in the hospital for about 28 days. Right collapsed lung, had 3 chest tubes in my lung, trying to keep my lung from collapsing. Got out of that and recovered from it physically. Not a whole lot of pain after that, but however, the brain injury still caused a lot of problems.
Dean says his mental trauma was a bigger struggle for him than managing bodily pain.
So I just didn't really understand the cognitive stuff that would happen as far as depression, anxiety, things like that come from traumatic brain, or short-term memory loss or brain fog. I had nowhere else to go. And it took me getting my head knocked in to go, you know what, maybe it's time for me to get help. After all my family members have told me, my children, I still have text messages from my kids saying, Dad, you need to get help.
Dean says he found help at Hyperbarics for Heroes, a nonprofit organization located in Oklahoma City. They treat military veterans and first responders through hyperbaric treatment.
Whether it's PTSD and just being on the edge all the time.
Co-founder of Hyperbarics for Heroes, Paul Conrady, says the chamber functions differently from isolated single-person chambers.
You're locked in the chamber for an hour or hour and 20 minutes, depending on which dive profile we're doing. And this gives those with like situations, like stories, to talk about what they've been through. And it's amazing what being able to communicate in the chamber, what that'll do.
The chamber creates the same environment as scuba diving, with some important differences.
We're doing hyperbaric air, so there's no hood, there's no mask, and you're in here able to talk.
The hyperbaric chamber adds pressurized air progressively at each dive level.
I'm pretty close to about 500 dives.
Health promotion specialist and military veteran Guy Stinnett operates the chamber from the inside.
We do a 52-foot dive protocol, and then we also do a 60-foot dive protocol, and each one has their benefits.
Hyperbarics for Heroes go easy on most first-time divers.
And once you've finished your 40, we do like for the veterans and first responders to take a break, because we do want to see if there's any regression or if you maintain what has happened throughout your healing process.
Conrady says the chamber greatly improves blood flow, improving healing conditions to both the body and the brain.
If you're in the chamber with oxygen and you constrict the blood vessels, the blood has to go somewhere. So it's creating new blood vessels to go around impingements or defects that we might be dealing with.
We're doing stem cells 3 times normal.
Former first responder and nursing advocate for 23 years, Wes Bledsoe says the chamber helps the body produce more stem cells, fighting off infections and diseases.
There's people in there like mold toxicity, Lyme disease, or stroke victims, or have renal failure, liver problems, and so on. And everybody is being helped because of the same thing, because we have that compressed oxygen.
Bledsoe says he struggled with his first dive because of his own PTSD.
I'd broken one eardrum 3 times, so my brain was telling me, you know, here's a good excuse on why it's going to fail. You're not going to be able to get down. You're not going to be able to equalize pressure. You're going to ruin the experience for everybody else.
By the way, there are safety protocols before and during the dive.
We'll prep everybody on what we do before we go in, and then once we're in, we go over a safety protocol, and then we get started after that. We get everybody to clear their ears. That's really the main thing we try to focus on. We don't want anybody to hurt their ears.
Wes Bledsoe's PTSD occurred during childhood and carried over to adulthood.
I've had mail that has stacked up for years that I haven't opened because it's just too much to even open your mail.
Bledsoe overcame his initial fear and is well past his 40th dive in the hyperbaric chamber. He says he sees light at the end of the tunnel.
I have hope. This is a place that maybe I'm not 100% yet, but if I just keep coming back, if I keep showing up, I'm going to get better.
Paul Conradi says he started the organization to help veterans and first responders. So far, they've had 20 military veterans enter the chamber.
If 17 veterans are taking their lives per day, and this will help them, if it helps one, is it not worth getting them into the chamber?
Brad Dean says Hyperbarics for Heroes gave him a new purpose after overcoming his own mental trauma.
And the peace of mind it's given me, the peace and serenity that I found through the hyperbaric chamber has been something I can use in my personal life. A lot of people we see that come through here, that's why I volunteer. I get to watch people get better.
Bledsoe says that the camaraderie at Hyperbarics for Heroes helps too because there's always someone who understands your situation.
Whether you're a veteran, whether you're a first responder, whether you're a sexual assault victim, whether you're a child who's abused, whatever it may be.
Paul Conradi says that they are taking applications on a person-to-person basis. Those interested in Hyperbarics for Heroes should log on to hyperbaricsforheroes.org